Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of the weekly BrYangle Report. This is the inspiration show for the photo challenge, Hold Your Fire. As some of you may know, we do a monthly photo challenge, and the monthly photo challenge for this month is Hold Your Fire, taken from Rush's album, Hold Your Fire, which was a great album and wasn't like some of the other albums that I didn't really want to talk about. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. It's going to be a lot of fun, this show. It always is. We're going to be talking about not necessarily fire. I mean, there's obviously going to be that conversation. But one thing that Rush was always known for was writing songs about time and capturing time. Hold Your Fire really goes along with that. It's about passion and patience. It's about staying focused, acting with intention, and so many more things than just what we would think with the theme Hold Your Fire. It's not just about fire. Now, when you're making a photo and all these things I've just mentioned, passion and patience and staying focused, it's really the same thing as photography. And that's really what I do this show for, is to kind of open a perspective, open an idea that you may not have thought about, to try new things and to give yourself challenges that you might not have done before. I hope you guys embrace the photo challenge. That's the beauty of a show, a live show specifically like this. And I really hope you guys all embrace that and submit some photos for the challenge. Now, one thing about this theme, and again, I kind of mentioned it, but it's not always just about setting things ablaze, right? It's about choosing your moment. It's about control. It's about knowing when to freeze time, and then also when to let it breathe. And hopefully through the conversation today, just like the album, the theme is all about balancing fire and restraint. And hopefully you're all going to get something out of this that you might not have thought of before. That's the whole point. Let me actually, you know what? There's people watching, people talking. Let's see what's going on. Shelly says hello. Hello, Michael Drukarsh. Ron Gray, still with you. Thanks, great. Inspiration time. Yes, and happy windy Wednesday. It is crazy windy outside today. You've got one hair out of place. It's probably from the wind. No? It's a beautiful day. Doug, hello to you. And as you see, Steve is watching, everybody. So if there's something that I don't see, say hi to Steve. It's been a while since he's made an appearance on the show. I'm just seeing if he's going to zip over maybe one time today. Who knows? Let me just move this chair. All right. Now, as always, this show is brought to you from Henry's in Newmarket, Ontario. I want to thank the folks at Henry's for letting me do this show, for welcoming me to the Henry's YouTube channel, and for just watching for the first time. I hope you enjoy it. Please give some comments in the chat. Let me know what you think of the show, and subscribe to the Henry's channel. That'd be a great thing to do. All right. This week's Did You Know? Did you know? Digital know-how, all that same stuff. Quick tip. This is something that is pretty interesting. Speaking of fire, did you know that your camera actually has its own built-in fire extinguisher? Yeah, it's called the blinkies. Essentially, when you make a photo that's too hot, too bright, you can have a display set on your camera that'll blink on all your highlighted, overexposed places. Now, it's important because blown highlights equals lost data. So if your highlights are too bright, you've blasted out your data, all the zeros and ones are completely negated, you got no information there, and you can't save it. So pay attention to the blinkies. If you have that feature turned on, it's not technically called the blinkies, it's highlight warning or something along those lines. To hold your fire, make sure you pay attention. Take a photo, just scroll through your display options on your camera until one of those displays is going to start flashing white. Those are your blinkies. If you do have the blinkies, underexpose your photo a little bit, try again until you get those blinkies disappeared, and then you know you have proper exposure on your photo. It's a different way of using like a histogram, but it's kind of like a built-in fire extinguisher for your camera, so I thought that would be pretty relevant. All right, now we're going to talk about what's new and what's used. Before I do, let's just see if anybody has any conversation here. I've had 3 ideas and looking for more, Mike says. And that's the cool thing about a show like this. Oh, I don't know if it's cool or not, because I mean, if you've already made your photo, then this just could piss you off. But hopefully, if you haven't made your photo, it gives you an idea, an additional one. Is blinkies a technical term? Yes, blinkies is a technical term. The blinkies. Yeah, Brian's agreeing with me. Okay, so here's what's new. I'm going to do a screen share, and I'm going to show you guys the what's new and what's used. Now, this was something I thought was kind of interesting. There's been a story here. This is on Digital Camera World. The finest stills camera ever made actually topped the Japanese sales chart. And it's the first medium format to ever, or with true end-to-end HDR color. So basically, it's 100 megapixel Hasselblad X2D version 2. It's a masterpiece of a camera, they say. And this actually was the top selling camera in Japan. Now, I'm judging it probably by dollars, because these are not cheap cameras. But if you want a camera that's going to give you perfection in a portrait, studio, landscape, real fine art detail environment, this is the camera to consider. And apparently in Japan, they're selling very well. Now, this other thing I want to talk about here, DJI just introduced Osmo Mobile 8. So we have the Mobile 7 in store right now. The Mobile 8 is different because it finally has tracking with a 360-degree pan head. A lot of these devices, they'll go so far and then they'll stop, limit to motion. This one here has a 360-degree pan rotation. And another really cool thing about it, it's improved its tracking functionality. So it actually has intelligent tracking of cats and dogs. So if you have your cell phone connected to this and you have the little eye on there, and you want to do videos of your cats or dog, as they walk around, this little guy here will follow it and do a 360-degree pan to keep it in the frame. So interesting little tool, and that's the Osmo Mobile 8. And the last thing I want to talk about for what's new is this cool Rodecaster that we're taking pre-orders for. Now, this is something that I imagine would replace the OBS system that I'm using and some other things that I have that gives you more streamlined control over your audio mixing, your video mixing. It's a new product that's just coming in, but apparently it streamlines your streaming process quite a bit. So something, if you're interested in doing what I'm doing right here, this may be a product that you want to try. In fact, I'm hoping I can talk to Henry's about slipping one into my kit. We'll see how that goes. Wish me luck, folks. Maybe send letters to Henry's and say, hey, give Brian one of those. Okay, that's about it for that. Yeah, protest, no protest needed. I love this place. Okay, let's get to our core content. And I'm going to share some pictures here because obviously when we're talking about hold your fire, fire is involved. Literal fire, the physical spark. How do you photograph this? What do you do with your image? And why would this be something to hold your fire? How could you hold fire physically? Well, to do this, I'm going to quickly go through some images I've made in the past. What you see here is a young lady who, Kayla was her name, and she actually was a fire worker. She worked with fire in her performance art, and we had her at one of my dark sessions, and we lit her up with a flash. She had her fire tools in her hand, and with a long exposure, you really get that massive fire effect that she has in her hands there. This is my new gimmick. This is what I'm doing with my sports photography. This is one of our portfolio shoots at the very beginning of me trying this out. And it was fun for me because I hadn't done fire before. And as you can see, the young man there was already warm, and the fire certainly didn't help. But learning how to capture that, how to control fire, how to incorporate that into a photo shoot was a real challenge that kind of gave me a whole new passion. And then all of a sudden I started incorporating that with my wrestling photography, and these guys were literally holding the fire. Now, if you need to know how to do this, it's probably not the kind of thing I'll talk about right here on the show, but come and talk to me and I'll help you. And my buddy Mike, who might or might not be watching the show today, he's a sports photographer as well. He shoots a lot of motorcycles and women and all this other stuff. And he wanted to do a shoot where he had some fire coming out of his hand, so we practiced, and there you go. And of course, my favorite fire shoot or shot was this shot of Alexia Nicole, the bionic one, with her fire up in the air. That's just a classic fire photo. So of course, literal fire, the physical spark is very important. Now, Rush always played with that idea, the idea of a spark, the unpredictable flash that could either burn too fast or light the path. Photography is exactly the same as that. A flame is power, but your job is to give that power direction. So as I was doing in my photos here, as you can see in that photo that's still on the screen, I was really trying to be purposeful with where the flame went. Obviously not in her face, not in her hair, but did I want like a little wisp of a flame, or do I want a big flame? Do I want it to look like a nuclear bomb? This is control. Small flames, controlled setups, light you guide instead of the light that controls you. And this was done with one flash and fire. And it worked out quite well. That's the physical fire. But guys, that's only one kind. Before I go to my next step, let me just see if anybody has any thoughts or questions for me here. It's very cool. You can never have too many photos. That's so true. Love the name Osmo. I know, right? It's true. I don't eat fire anymore. It gives me heartburn, Steve says. Steve is very sensitive. You know, I don't know. He's just very sensitive with the fire. Oh, well. Okay. How about emotional fire, guys? The thing that drives you, the passion, the ambition that you might have. I was just having a conversation with one of our customers a few minutes ago about this. I've known a lot of really talented people, but it's only the people that have that passion and the hustle that make it to the next tier. And I think that's essential as a photographer to find the emotional fire in what you're doing. But how do you translate that into visuals? Emotional fire. Well, I happen to have some pictures I can share with you about that. So one of the things that I always thought about was somebody who's always trying to get ahead, chasing a dream. Somebody who's in a band, like the photo I have up here, who has a passion for what they're doing and they're aspiring to be the best they can be and the best musician they can be. This is a big part of having internal fire. You can capture that in the eyes and in the lighting and in the tone of a photo. How about some tension? A moment that's causing a buildup of tension. Brian, if you want to come around and see the shots, you're welcome to. This is a moment where this is actually a setup scenario. It was a day for night photo by Jamie Edwards, one of my workshops in the loft studio. It's actually daytime outside those windows, but with proper settings, we used a flash to simulate the light from the monitor. And actually we used two flashes, AD200 and something else. And we literally controlled where that light went to create a very dynamic, and you can see the fire going on. He's stressed out, she's needing a result, and they've really set the stage well for that story. Or how about tension before something, the moment before contact, where you look at something and you think, uh-oh, something's about to happen. Here we have Trent Seven about to punch a guy, and he has this fake out move where he'll put his hand up like this, you'll look at it, and then he'll pop you in the face with his other hand. And that's what he's about to do in this shot here. So it's that moment before the moment that is causing the tension and the fire in the photo. Or even just concentration or drive, or in this case, grit, determination. We have a lucha wrestler in the foreground who has scarring on his back. You can tell he's been through battles. He's down on the ground. His opponent is in front of him, giving a menacing look. You can tell that there's something about to happen. You don't know if the lucha guy is going to come up and win. You don't know if the guy in the background keeps on beating on him. But there's this dynamic in the photo that shows an internal fire between the two. So again, fire doesn't have to be a flame. It can be determination. It can be purpose. And this is why, as a photographer, we're always looking for that extra little bit of flair. This is a Tina Turner tribute artist, and she had her Tina Turner attitude down pat. It was really great to see. And you can just see by the expression on her face that she is into the role and she's loving it. Or if you're going to get married. And this was actually, I believe, this was my shot for my wedding portrait session that I ran with Gabriel and Navi years ago. And this is just a model looking off into the distance, but it has this pensive feeling to it. You can tell that she's excited. She has that look in her eye, and the light's hitting her in just the right place that hopefully the viewer can feel that as well. So again, internal tension, internal fire. Now, Rush has this recurring theme of the heat inside the quiet. Rush is always looking into time. They had a couple songs, Time Stands Still, and of course, Hold Your Fire, that really emphasize this concept. Um, Stepping outside the rush of life long enough to notice the world that you're actually in. So if you were to make a photo like this right here, for example, this is all ego, Ethan Page, routing up the fans, getting everybody riled up. The fans are interacting with him. He's interacting with them. A breath held, a moment in time that you're freezing to show the grand scale of what's happening. Or even something like this, where you have two wrestlers that are, obviously there's a tension going on. One guy is being scolded, per se. This is actually when one guy won the championship from the guy who's scolding him. But that's Josh Alexander, who went on to bigger and better things. And he's basically saying that Von Vertigo is the next future champion. And now he was champion for quite a while at Northern Crown. So there's this moment being told without any other thing than the moment you see. And that is fire in itself. So there is emotional fire, literal fire. In this case, time, stillness, and the heat inside the quiet. That's three separate ways that you can start thinking about this photo theme already. Now, what if there was more about color and light as fire? And that's where you start to get into light painting and really manipulating the overall environment. Like, for example, the scene that I'm in right now. I didn't want it to look very stark and stoic. I wanted to have color. I wanted to have a little bit of a dynamic feel. So I added some yellows and some blues and some reds to give it a little bit of fire, I guess you can say. But if you were to start making soft glowing edges, warm halos, because keep in mind, guys, the Rush Hold Your Fire album was basically 3 orbs with the shadow. It's essentially light painting on an album cover. Thinking in abstract, thinking in texture and detail rather than thinking in fire itself. Using warmer tones, backlit subjects, as you can see the shadows on the back of these with the light hitting the front. Reflections, like neon has some great reflections that you can work with as well. So using light and color, or using warm and cool contrasts in your photo can show this tension and this heat, this fire. That's when it actually becomes less about fire and more about just the trace of life. Photography is so diverse. You can do so many great things with it. So I really hope that these ideas are kind of helping people see that it's not just about the fire itself. You can do a lot of things with so many others. All right, let's see if there's any more comments here. If you don't have the fancy lights and flashes, can you still get this to work? Absolutely. I mean, it depends on placement. If you keep your eyes open in an environment and you see that there's a light in the background, you can use that as your light. You could use any flashlight. Like a lot of times for my light painting, it's just a little flashlight that I keep on me, and I'll put a blue gel or I'll put a yellow gel on top of that. There's a lot of ways for you to, use color and detail, and even just shadow. Like even the time of day, if you go outside at golden hour, you can use that sun behind a subject to give you that warmth and that feeling. So there's a lot of different ways to create fire for sure. Shelly, bop and bang is the Trent move. Yes, bop and bang. Wrestling is fire. For you people who don't watch pro wrestling, maybe not watch the big ones on TV because, they're what they are. But if you go to a local independent wrestling show, like you get to see somebody like the Fall Off Boy here. I just saw him again, Chip Chambers, this past weekend. There's some really amazing, talented performers. And the fire you see in these performers, I mean, they travel the world. They literally coast to coast in Canada for, not the same that a lot of people would make, and they love it. And there's this internal fire. These are things that you just can't make up. You can't AI these things. Like these are real, tangible moments that mean a lot. Okay, I'm going to close my screen share here for a few minutes, and we're going to talk for a bit because there's some other stuff I want to get into. Here we go. Boom. Okay, now again, I want to remind you that the photo challenge I'm going to put it up here. Here it is, lower third, theme. The current challenge is hold your fire. I'm just going to leave that up here as I'm talking so that you can always remember what you're doing. So I'm going to go into some practical shoot ideas, some things that you can actually try, go out there and put to practice. So imagine there's a subject alone in a moment of stillness, in his own little world, doing his own little thing. And you can see that he's processing, right? There's something he's just been doing, he's paused, he's processing. The pause between beats, the moment between the moments of him doing something aggressive and then pausing and about to do something different. You can see in a face, you can see in a moment the intention and the emotion and the fire that they might be bringing. So if you have somebody who is working on a project and they take a pause, that could be hold your fire. How about a warm light catching just the hands or the eyes? Just a warm light, just a kick of light, catching a commitment in someone's eyes. And again, that's something that you could literally do with a flashlight in a normally lit room. Close your aperture, let a bit less light in, have your shutter speed set so that you have some sharpness, and then just use your flashlight to highlight certain areas. And if you have colored gels, put a gel on your flashlight, or even if you have a red, green, blue flashlight, make it a certain color. And then you can get very creative with that kind of thing. So I have one lens, it's a 28 to 75. No, yeah, 2485, sorry. My Nikon 2485 lens. It's got a little chip in it. I love that lens. I named it Chip. If I'm using it and I aim it just right into the sun, I get a really cool flare. Using a flare that kind of looks like energy coiling could be a really cool addition to your photo. And I'm not saying go out and chip your lenses. Not at all. I'm saying creating a lens flare in some way. Take a flashlight and aim it at the side of a lens and get a flare and try and make that in a predictable pattern. Maybe you can create a fire type shot that way. Now, I do light painting all the time. And one of my favorite light painting photos was literally just a light bulb that I used a red flashlight and shone from above. Inside, the way the light coiled around the filaments, it made it look like there was a red dragon inside the light bulb. I'm creating a dragon inside of a bulb with just a single red flashlight and some time. So these are all things that you can play with. A long exposure flare that looks like energy coiling up inside. Or how about a silhouette lit with warm rim light? So again, using the sun behind it, you kind of simulate the idea or the glow, I guess you could say, of an idea forming itself. So now you've got light behind, you've got a right pensive look on a face, and you're creating this idea in the shot. There's so many different avenues that you can do if you're out just trying to have fun. This time of year, we're going to have a lot of breath, a lot of cold breath, the steam from our breath in the air. A fog, a haze, catching a bit of that warm light is another way to show fire and intention and heat. How about a portrait with a warm, cool contrast? You can call that passion versus patience, right? Open your eyes to all these different ideas. Brian, you have a comment?
Mona Lisa.
Sorry, what was that?
Mona Lisa is lit that way.
Explain.
It's warm. It's warm. It's not hard skin. It's warm.
So that was a purposeful, intentional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great point. Thank you. And this is a trick that you find when you start keeping your eyes open to it. You start finding a lot of artists do this trick intuitively. This is what they do, right? So all of these things are related to the Hold Your Fire theme. Now you could also do macro textures that kind of have a scorched, cracked, or a heated look. So if you have a macro lens, maybe find some charred material or a texture of wood that has a feeling of heat or flame. These are all different ideas that you can try as well. So that's just about it for the main content. Let's just see if anybody has any more comments. Nothing, since wrestling is fire. So thank you all for commenting so far, and thank you for watching. if you have any questions about this theme or anything else after that, please let me know. Now, keep in mind, next week's show is the photo review show. If you haven't got your photos in, email them to newmarket@henrys.com. I'll put that up here so you can all see that as well. Here you go. So newmarket@henrys.com. Just send that email, hold your fire theme to us, and then we'll be able to use that for our photo show or for our show next week. The week after, we're getting into some fun product-based shows. 'Tis the season, everybody. So I'm going to talk about some product. We're going to get into some of the more popular things that we sell, some of the less popular things that you should really get into this holiday season. Of course, talk about a lot of sales that we have coming up. I've got my top 12 days of Pixmas show coming up next month. And keep in mind, all of our other shows, like I've got some great ideas for other shows. They're all coming up in the new year as well. So keep watching the show. There's always going to be a new theme. This leads me to the spark plug of the week. Now, again, a spark plug is plugging a product that can spark some inspiration, something that you hadn't thought of before that maybe we have in store right now that you can try. The spark plug of the week is Small Rig. Now, Small Rig is a brand that makes cages and all kinds of really cool accessories. But what I want to talk about are their stands that we have in the store. So first off, this guy right here. This is, let me turn off these texts here so that it's not so confusing. Here we go. This is the Small Rig video tripod. Now you can't see it all, but it's a beefy tripod right here. I wasn't really thinking of talking about these much, but then on Saturday when I was in Hamilton at a wrestling event, I saw this is the tripod they were using there too. Because wrestling people don't have tons of money. And although this is a beefy, good quality tripod, it's only selling for $216. But it's Black Friday and everything's on sale. So it's actually selling for $176 for a really solid video tripod with a fluid head, the big plate for your camera. I mean, it's a solid option for people getting into this, but that's not all I wanted to talk about because Sparkplug should be pretty diverse. So we have portable selfie stick and tripod all built into one. Really cool, handy little thing. You literally can keep your phone on it, open up the feet, set it down, walk around with it. Really, that's $40, pretty inexpensive. Then they have a larger version that has all kinds of extra brackets. And we had a customer the other day that was looking for a really challenging mount system, and we couldn't think of anything that would work for him. And then we were like, would this work? Checked it out. Absolutely perfect. It's multifunctional. It's a windproof live broadcast stabilizer stand. So if you're doing live broadcasting, it can hold your phone. It can balance it well. It's nice and sturdy. But this guy right here, the Magic Arm with the crab connection, I love Magic Arms. You've got your phone mount at the top. You can clamp the bottom thing to anything in a car, in a home, whatever. And then you can just put that phone into the exact position you need it to be in. So I could literally clamp this to this tripod and move the phone to be exactly beside the camera, use it as a teleprompter. So $50 for these little guys. Amazing, inspirational tools that we have in store right now. And you can come check out. There we go. You know what I didn't talk about today? I didn't talk about what's used. Brian says I am. He is. So I'm going to go over some used stuff right now very quickly for you guys. Before I do that, let's just see if anybody is saying anything more. Really nice tripod for the money. It's so true. Oh, that's all Steve. Okay, cool. Sorry, I was selling stuff, he says. It's all right. That's what we're here for. Okay. This right here for the Sony E-mount is a 70-200 Tamron. Now, y'all know 70 to 180. f2.8 aperture, 70-180. So Michael Drukarsh, who's watching right now, you have a 70-180. This is the Tamron for the Sony. Right now, it's $1,279.99, actually selling for $1,152. So for $1,152, 70-180 f2.8 hockey lens, portrait lens, any indoor action, concerts, anything at a distance for portrait is just a solid option for you guys. We've got 3 flashes up here. I don't need to pull them all down because they'll probably fall. And I've got them balanced really well. We have a Godox TT685. Now, by the way, I have 4 of these flashes myself. This is for a Nikon. It's $109.99, but it's selling because of obviously Black Friday for $98, $99. So take it easy, man. So this Godox flash is $100. We have an SB800 and an SB600 Nikon flash, normally selling for $150 or $90, currently selling for $90 or $54. So talking about adding fire to our photos, that's what flashes do. These are the things that give you the tools where you can color it, you can light it, you can get all creative, backlight it, front light it, put a trigger on there, remote fire it. The Godox actually has a built-in receiver. So with that flash and a transmitter on your camera, you're totally wireless off camera. Serious option. And again, that's only, what did I say that was? $99, $98.99 to be exact. So this is a great time to come in for these kinds of things right now. And possibly the best of all, I've saved for last. This, my friends, is the Nikon P1000 massive beefcake telephoto lens camera. This thing has a 24 to 300 millimeter focal length equivalent lens. I use this to take a picture in my favorite spot, and if you know me, you know where I'm talking about, sitting at the end of the road, zooming all the way to the end of the road where the osprey nest is, and I can zoom in and fill the frame with the photo, with the bird. That's how far this zooms. It's nuts. So if you're looking for a good super telephoto, this is a used camera right now. It's supposed to sell for $869.99. Currently, $783, which is cheaper than the SX70 compact camera. Yes, Brian? Can you hold it? Sure. Here you go.
Fixed lens?
Yeah, it's a fixed lens point and shoot with a massive zoom to the moon. A lot of people are using this just even for spotting wildlife at a distance. Because it zooms so far, whether you're taking the photo or not, you're really magnifying anything you see like crazy. So something to think about. Mm-hmm.
Is it APS-C?
No. It's a point and shoot sensor. Small little 1/2.3 inch, I believe. Yeah, just a little guy.
Oh.
Want me to take that back from you, Bri? He's not giving it up. There we go. All right, let's see. Yeah, great range lens. There's only one other camera that has more, and that's the 1100 version. Same basic thing. Okay, guys, let's move along to the closing. And I just want to remind you all, this month, don't chase the fire, aim it. Let it be controlled. The theme is about focus, intention, knowing exactly when to press the shutter. But of course, a little Rush influence never hurts, right? There's never a bad day to listen to Rush. The message was always about courage, passion, and choosing your moment, which really translates so well into photography. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. So I hope you all enjoy the challenge. I hope you make a photo and submit it to our photo challenge contest, newmarket@henrys.com. And I'm going to leave us, of course, as always, with all the cool deals and sales that are on right now. Just a very quick overview of some of the cool things that we've got going on right now at Henry's. So let me pull this up here for you. There we go. All right. Boom. You don't need to see me for this. There we are. Anytime you go to henrys.com, you'll see all these sales. And as you can see, Black Friday, there's all kinds of deals going on. So first off, up to 50% off tripods and supports. I've already told you about this guy. It's normally selling for $215.99, selling for $176. So that's a great deal. You have up to 35% off bags and straps. You have the Henry's cashback program. So basically it's called Shop More, Get More. The more you spend, the more you get to come back and use in January. So until the 24th of December, anything you buy qualifies you for a certain percentage back. If it's $100, you get 10. If it's $500, you get 50. If it's $1,000, you get 100. If it's $2,000, you get 200. So there's all these tiers that if you spend, you can come back in the new year and use that money toward anything that amount or greater. Now, of course, there's all these other deals, and you can check them all out on henrys.com, memory cards and so on. Everything's on sale. Pre-orders are still active, but I want to point out one more time the Spotlight with Anthony making videos from Henry's downtown. His humor makes me laugh every time I watch a show at some point. Every time I watch one of these, I learn something from it, and they're right there on at the bottom of the Henry's website. So check out these videos if you're concerned or curious about photography, and that's about it. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I'm going to close off of here, make myself nice and large so you can see me again, and thank you one more time for watching the weekly BrYangle Report live from right here in Newmarket, Ontario. Let's move this over. Here we go. All right, so let me see if there's any chat, any questions. Great range. Thank you, Brian. Always great to listen to your words of wisdom. Thanks, Ann. Appreciate it. And again, I'm going to ask you folks, if you like the show, hit subscribe on the Henry's YouTube channel. Make a comment on the show below it in the comments. Ask a question. Send me an email. If you have a theme for a show, let me know. The nice thing about a weekly show is we need themes all the time. So if there's something you want to learn about photography, chances are I want to learn it too. Send it to me. We'll do some research. We'll get a good show together for you. Thank you all so much for watching this week's BrYangle Report. And don't forget, if you shoot for yourself, the rest will follow. Have a great week, everyone.